With just over 5 minutes remaining in Super Bowl 55, a fan ran onto the field, briefly disrupting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers' march to victory over the Kansas City Chiefs. Later identified as Yuri Andrade, the fan had a pretty successful run as far as streakers go. He made it onto the field, got some photos taken of himself in a hot pink one-piece emblazoned with the name of an adult website, and evaded security long enough to interrupt the game. He even got a fantastic call from the legendary play-by-play man Kevin Harlan, who was broadcasting the game over the radio. But after his stunt, reports began coming out that Andrade's run had been even more successful than initially thought. Andrade had not only made it onto the field but also claimed to have done so after placing a $50,000 wager that the Super Bowl would have a streaker, which would bring in $374,000 in winnings. A post shared by Yuri Andrade at King Yuri Andrade's claim immediately raised eyebrows in the betting community. Patrick Everson of Covers said on Twitter that offshore sportsbooks likely would have had limits in place to prevent such a bet from being made. Todd Furman of the Bet the Board podcast also had questions about Andrade's wager, as he had initially told TMZ Sports that he sent someone to Las Vegas to make the wager. Since placing bets on off-field events isn't allowed at Vegas sportsbooks, the story immediately seemed phony. But despite initial suspicions, it appears that there was some truth to Andrade's claim, though he still won't be cashing in on his run. Andrade told a Tampa radio station that he had gotten friends to place wagers from different accounts on the gambling site Bovada. They bet that there would be a fan on the field at plus 750 odds. With several smaller wagers rather than one big $50,000, it's more conceivable that Andrade could have gotten a healthy wager down on his run. According to a report from AJ Perez at Front Office Sports, Bovada was working to identify accounts that knew of Andrade's planned stunt. Our players have always trusted us to ensure the integrity of all props offered in our sportsbook, a Bovada spokesman told Perez. We will continue to make sure that any publicity stunts or ill-intended behavior cannot adversely affect the outcome of a player's wager. According to Perez, Bovada is refunding those that wagered there would not be a fan on the field during the game and paying out winning bets for accounts that were not linked to early knowledge of Andrade's plan. Perez wrote that one bettor who said he had no prior knowledge of the stunt had already had his account shut down by Bovada. Ultimately, it looks as though Andrade's plan to bet on himself won't end up in the big payday that he had hoped for, but it appears he came closer to success than many initially suspected.